Welcome back everyone. I really hope you're all doing well. It is a beautiful sunny day here today in the UK, although it is very cold outside. And today is my plant maintenance day. So I'm just going to be going around and watering the plants, a bit of pruning, just checking for bugs, things like that, and a bit of leaf shining. So I thought I would take you with me and show you how I look after the plants. I'm currently watering them once a week, but during the winter I just give them a little bit less water than in the spring and summer. I did get out my fertilizers just to show you what I use in the spring and summer as well. Again, I'm not using these at the moment, so I've just been using Baby Bio for many years, and this is what I use for my air plants. So to water my plants I use room temperature filtered water, and I've been using this water drop jug for quite a few years now. I have linked it in my Amazon shop if you're looking to get a new filter jug. So I use this for my drinking water and for the plants and my birds drinking water. So generally with my air plants I tend to just give them a good soak in the sink once a week or every 10 days or so. I just find it's a bit easier than going around and misting them all. These are some of my leftover flowers from Valentine's Day. I got a selection of roses, lilies, alstroemeria, which is what this flower is here. These tend to last the longest actually out of all the flowers, and I actually grow one of these in the garden during the summer. I've got the Indian summer variety, which is a bit more of a orange colour, and then the foliage is darker. So beautiful. So I'm just going to go ahead and water the plants. So I don't give them too much water during the winter. Most of the plants I'll leave in the pots and water them, and then some of them, like this Pelia, I will take out of the pot and let the water drain through. This is one of the plants that desperately needs repotting, and I need to do a bit of pruning on this one. So let me just get this off the shelf. I was hoping to repot some plants today, but I am missing a couple of my ingredients for my soil mix, so I'll have to do that another time. But when I do, I will film the process, as I've got quite a few plants that need repotting. So I'm just going to take this out of the decorative planter. So as you can see, it has grown quite a lot since I first got it, and it has multiplied. Desperately needs repotting. There's even some more coming up there, and there's a few yellow leaves, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove any crispy or dead leaves. If you can see little bits on the plants, it is actually the glitter from my Christmas decorations. It's not spider mites. I do need to go ahead and clean these leaves. So that's looking a little bit more tidy now I've removed the yellow leaves. I just really need to repot it. I'm not sure whether to separate them or keep them all as one. I might just repot it in a bigger pot, maybe keep a couple together and then take one out and grow it separately. But this was quite small when I first got it. It is looking a bit thirsty. As you can see, the leaves look a little bit droopy. So with this one I just like to give it a good water and then just let the water run through the pot. Give it a little shake over the sink, and then I'll just pop it back in the decorative planter. This is a Dicenia marmarata, usually grown in a terrarium. It does prefer high humidity, so as you can see the leaves do look a little bit curly because it does prefer higher humidity, although it's still growing really nicely. There is a leaf here that I need to remove. Oh, it's pretty much falling off anyway. This one doesn't really like too much water, so just a little drop. It's so beautiful. One of my favourite jewel orchids. This little peperomia, I only water kind of every other week. Again, this has grown quite a lot since I've had it, and it's been flowering quite a bit as well. So I'm going to leave that one this week. The Begonia maculata whitey eye always likes a little bit more water. I just gave this a trim recently, but then it's actually just grown back to exactly where it was before. This is another one that I need to repot. My Ace of Spades Hybrid is actually looking quite good, considering it can be a little bit fussy in regards to temperature and humidity. This is one of the colder rooms in my house, the kitchen, especially on this windowsill, but it's actually not looking too bad compared to some of my other anthuriums, the fussy ones anyway. My Clevia has just finished flowering. This was a present from my boyfriend's mum. This is one of the larger varieties. I think the smaller ones are a bit more common, but I don't really know too much about this plant, to be honest. Quite new to it. My Croton loves a good water no matter what time of year it is. I've had this plant for about 4 years. This one tends to go a little bit droopy when it needs a water. Again, I need to dust the leaves on this one. I'm going to grab a microfiber cloth in a minute and do that. And then last but not least in the kitchen is my beautiful vanilla orchid, which started off as a very small plant and now it has attached itself to the wall in many places, crawled across the ceiling, and now it's kind of climbing down this part of the wall. So I'm just using a microfiber cloth to dust the leaves. I used to clean the leaves with a neem oil mix, but I found that over time it kind of built up on the leaves a bit too much, and I don't think it's really good for the plant. So I do use that very occasionally, and it's quite a good preventative of bugs such as spider mites. But for general maintenance, for cleaning and shining the leaves, I'll just use a microfiber cloth. Again, this has got Christmas decoration dust all over it. But as you can see, even just by using a microfiber cloth, it makes the leaves nice and shiny. The colours on this plant will be much more vibrant if you keep it somewhere nice and sunny. The more light it receives, the better colour it's going to be. They can be quite fussy, they don't like being moved, and they don't really like changes in temperature. So I've just kept this one on the same windowsill for about 4 years and I haven't ever had any problems with it. So I'll usually check the plant for bugs by lifting up the leaf and just having a good look underneath. Usually you can see spider mites or thrips underneath the leaf. This one's looking okay, still a little bit dusty though. I'm just going to do the same with my Pelia. Onto the living room plants next. I'm not going to take you around all of them because it does take me quite a while. Here we have my Gloriosum, which is getting a new leaf. And yes, I do need to put it in a pot where it can crawl. It will grow much better when I do that. I did see some in Home Sense last summer, so I might see if they've got any in again this year. Just going to give that a little water. My Cuprea is looking much happier over here, closer to the window and the grow lights up here. Although they can thrive in lower light conditions just because of the reflective surface, but it is looking much happier here since I've moved it. This is one of my favourite plants. It's just so striking and unusual looking. I do tend to give the anthuriums a little bit more water than the other plants. They're a little bit more thirsty. I also moved my Cecestis over here and it's looking quite happy at the moment. The Alocasia Mellow doesn't like a lot of water, so just a tiny bit for this one. I can tell that this leaf here is going to drop soon because it's gone a bit droopy and starting to go slightly yellow. But this has to be one of my all-time favourite plants. It is absolutely beautiful, and the most unusual texture, almost feels like cardboard. And they can be a little bit tricky to look after, and I do like a challenge. So the fact that it hasn't gone dormant since I've had it, and I think I've had it about 2 years, is quite rewarding. As I mentioned in my last video, I haven't been using the humidifiers for about 6 months, and I just kind of wanted to see which plants could cope with lower humidity, and this one, surprisingly, has coped very well. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link that below for you. These tiny paper plants are by Nicole's Jungle on Instagram. I'll link her page below for you. She sent me these last year. How cute. This is a red flash, which I'll be potting up soon actually. My panatum is looking a little bit droopy, so I know this one needs a good water. My poor Forgetti Eye is a bit crispy, so this is one that does not appreciate lower humidity, as mentioned on my previous video. Still going to give it a bit of water even though it's only got one leaf. It has got a new leaf coming, so I am going to move this one upstairs where it is a little bit more humid. My Florida Beauty is still looking very beautiful. This is another one that I need to repot and give it a proper moss pole. I'm actually really looking forward to repotting some of my plants. Again, I'm just going to clean some of the leaves with a microfiber cloth. This one isn't actually looking too dusty, it looks okay. It's a bit harder to clean dust off the velvety feel leaves like the Clarinervium. You can use a microfiber cloth, but if it doesn't get it all off, I just sit them in the sink and just give them a little clean with some filtered water on some kitchen roll, and that tends to do the job. This is one of my all-time favourite plants, the Philodendron bilietiae, or billieti. I've had this for about 3 years now, I believe. Again, I need to repot this plant and give it a much taller moss pole. I would absolutely love the variegated version of this plant, but it is very expensive and quite hard to come by. One day. My beautiful Melanochrysum is about to drop this lovely leaf. Oh, there it goes. I think I might have to move this one upstairs because my other one upstairs seems to be doing much better than this one. My peace lily in the ensuite bathroom always needs a good water, and it does need a dust as well, and there's a couple of leaves to remove, which are pretty much falling off anyway. I don't tend to remove the leaves until they're almost falling off. These plants usually tend to go a bit droopy when they need watering as well, so it's a good indication whether it's thirsty or not. We're up in my office now, so I'm just going to go ahead and water, dust and prune some of the plants in here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I get asked all the time about how I water my plants and take care of them, so I thought it might be useful if I just showed you one of my plant maintenance days. But if you've got any questions, feel free to add a comment below. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.